Hello again, everyone. And welcome once again to Fairview. Our rail fan there in the foreground is very excited because we have some new motive power operating on the layout. I'm actually just going to mute the loco for a moment while I speak. That's better. Couldn't hear myself think really. And of course that's already proof that what we've got going on here is the two locos that I talked about in my last video, which I'd bought over the summer, ready to start serving the Rocky lead. And we now have them fitted with DCC decoders and they're good for operations. I haven't really messed around too much with the CVs and things, still got speed matching to sort out and so on, but the two locomotives, the front one is an Athearn Genesis GP40-2, and I fitted that with a Lock Sound 5 decoder, nice and simple, had one of these proper plug and play sockets in it. I'll just add some images of that process. And I was really pleased with how that went. It's the first time actually I've sort of consciously acquired a loco with one of these plug and play sockets in it, and it was an absolute dream. I then foolishly thought that the loco in the rear, the GATX GP38-2, would be exactly the same. Opened up the shell only to find that it being one of these Athearn ready to roll series, there was no provision for DCC at all. Again, I might just quickly lay over here some photos from the process, which turned out to be a real nightmare with trying to wire in an appropriate 8-pin socket to then plug in a lace DCC chip. It was a really cheap one, and I'm glad it was a cheap one, bearing in mind how hard I found the whole process. I'm a real dunce. I've said before, don't like the electronic side of model railroading. And I fitted it and I tested it and nothing happened. And I thought, oh, I've blown the chip. And then I undid everything and redid it and undid it, and realized in the end there was one really sort of wobbly contact, a tab inside that Athearn had originally used for feeding the bulb in the cab actually. And I'd watched Larry, the DCC guy, so I'd copied his idea of wiring the black pickup wire from there to the decoder, but the tab that I'd soldered onto was wobbly, and so obviously power just wasn't getting through to the loco. Anyway, last night, quite late last night, I finally worked out that that was the problem, after much gnashing of teeth and tearing of hair, and hey presto, finally both locos are ready, sitting on the layout. The one with... Okay, so apart from working on the locos themselves, I decided it was high time that I began to landscape the area of the aggregate plant, which is going to be at the end of the Rocky lead. So it's early days yet, you can see. I'm just temporarily popping some buildings in place now. First, rough layers of ground cover, and my good friend Mike had asked would I perhaps do some kind of backdrop here just to separate the scene from trains which were running on the main line in the background, and I thought that was a really good idea. So yep, I've just started to rough in the foam work. I've got to just do the usual kind of trade-off between having that sort of background effect, something which just blends the scene into the overall layout, but also if I have too much of that, of course, then the space for the actual plant becomes far too restricted. Whatever happens, it's a compromise. In the end, if I manage on some kind of Fairview Mark II to have a longer rocky lead, there would be a cement plant and possibly also a scrapyard along the way. And on the real rocky lead, there's actually a Y just before you get back to the main line down into Denver, and whole trains are turned on that Y. I can't manage any aspect of that, and at the moment haven't even got a run round track. But there we go. I'm quite pleased with how the scene is beginning to shape up. So nothing else to show you for now, folks, but I'll just close with some images of the two locos, new rocky lead service, bringing in some fresh empties, switching them out for the two loaded wagons you can see there, and then heading back to the Fairview yard for the end of their turn. So there we go, that's it for this latest update. Thank you very much for watching, as always. If you want to leave comments, please feel free and I'll get back to you. And of course, it'd be great if you could like, and if you're not yet a subscriber, click the subscribe button to stay up to date with more progress on my Fairview layout. Take care of yourselves, enjoy your model railroading, and I hope to see you again soon. Bye for now.